Trade tensions have been heating up at this year's Summer Davos in Tianjin, China. Now, it's been a real ping pong. First, we heard from the US, who announced new tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. China also responding quite swiftly with tariffs on $60 billion worth. All this taking place in the course of 3 days at the World Economic Forum annual summit meeting of the new champions, which has gathered over 2,500 people. Now, today we did hear from Chinese Premier Minister Li Keqiang, who did not directly address these trade tensions with the US. However, he did praise globalization. He also said that China was not devaluating the yuan, a claim that President Donald Trump has made several times. Now, during this week, we have also been catching up with several business leaders and experts who also gave us their take on how the trade developments are going.
I think that this impact will be quite deeply to some part of the company, especially those companies as a franchise in other part of the world, especially US, European. And also second one is the company who focus on export. But this kind of the shifting will be driven by the government directions. Actually, recently I saw the policies in the coast area cities. They have launched some policies and a procedure to help them to relieve this kind of pressure from the trade conflict.
I think in the short term, this China-US trade tension cannot be a good thing for anyone, in fact, including Chinese economy. But what is important is Chinese economy is typically driven by three pillars in terms of growth. One is investment, that's usually in China, infrastructure investment. One is domestic consumption, that's largely driven by the emerging middle class and urbanization in China. And thirdly is often the export. Now that would directly impact, the export would directly impact by this trade tariff. That China may have candidly the currency depreciation pressure, but the overall economy, we see government policy easing already started kicking. With that would offset some of the negative impact on the Chinese economy.
Well, I think there has been a lot of assessment about the impact of the potential trade war, and I think the direct impact is not as bad as many people have imagined. Even if the US were to levy a 10% of tariff on the 200 billion export from China, I think the impact is only going to be like 0.3 to 0.5 percentage point of the GDP growth to China. So in short, that is not such a big deal.